same exact problem that happened during the Umayyad rule happened when Abu Ja'far took leadership. After he quashed the revolt, he summoned Abu Hanifa. And just like Ibn Hubayra did back in the previous ruling, he said, Abu Hanifa, you should become a judge, and you're going to be the head judge. And he sent 10,000 dirham and a female servant. And Abu Hanifa, Abdullah ibn Humayd, who brought he was a minister for Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, he brought it. He said, take this back to him. I don't accept this. He said, take it. He said, I refuse it. So he was summoned to the palace, Abu Hanifa. And when he was summoned, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur said, are you rejecting the position of a judge? He said, yes, I reject it. I'm not fit for that position. And they kept going on and on, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur and Abu Hanifa Rahimahullah. So Abu Ja'far gets mad because he speaks back to him. Abu Hanifa said, I'm not fit for it. So Abu Ja'far said, you're a liar. Abu Hanifa said, well, now you called me a liar. How can a liar become a judge? Abu Ja'far gets even angrier and said, Wallahi, you're going to be a judge or I'm going to lash you with just same thing Ibn Hubayra did a while ago. Abu Hanifa said, Wallahi, I'm not going to be a judge. So one of the guards there said, our leader says an oath and you say an oath? Abu Hanifa said, yeah, well, he's richer than me. He can do a kafara. I can't. Meaning he's richer. He can feed 10 poor people. He can do a kafara. I'm a poor man. He was sort of making fun of them. Then he was ordered in prison. Do you know when Abu Hanifa, after this dialogue went on, what Abu Hanifa was in prison for? He was in prison because he was considered a Khariji. He was in and out. These are the path of the righteous. In and out of prison while the others are in and out of 5- and 7-star hotels. This was a man who was in prison because he's considered a Khariji. They considered him a Khariji. Not only did they consider Abu Hanifa a Khariji, this was his official charge. He was considered a Alawi Khariji. Imagine that. You know the ancestors of Hafidh and Bashar al-Assad? They were always trying to revolt against and renegade against Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. They considered Abu Hanifa part of that. Alawi Khariji. So Abu Ja'far al-Mansur orders him in prison. So basically what I'm trying to say, don't get mad when a Murji'a reject calls you a Khariji. And it's not only today, it's not only the Murji'a rejects who call a Khariji, but I heard a modernist very recent in a clip, a modernist in the West, used the word Khariji in defaming one of the biggest leaders of our time. Now the modernists, so-called Salafis, and the Murji'a rejects began using the word Khariji. Abu Ja'far lets him go to prison and orders that he be tortured under his command, and he says treat him very harshly and threaten his life and pressure him in every single way you can. Abu Hanifa right now at this time, at this era, Abu Ja'far Mansur was right approximately 70 years old. He was weak, he was old, and they feared that he may die in prison. And this might cause an uprising. So they let him go to his house, but in his house he's under house arrest. He can't speak, he can't leave, not even for salah. He can't give no fatwas, yet Abu Hanifa remained firm. And he died in his prison 150 years after the hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He died in his house prison, and it said that Abu Ja'far al-Mansur slipped poison to his house and killed him. It said that he slipped it within the food, and it said that he forced Abu Hanifa, sent someone to force Abu Hanifa to eat that prison. When he died, Abu Hanifa, he said, don't bury me on a land that the leaders took unjustly or by force from anyone. That was among the last things Abu Hanifa said. The ulama the righteous ulama always struggled with their rulers. They struggled with them. They weren't blind, submissive followers, subservient to their leaders, even though they are uncomparable to the leaders of today. I'm going to repeat, they were oppressive back then, but they're uncomparable to the leaders of today. What amazes one in all these trials of Abu Hanifa, for example, he had the keys to the prison. He could have left anytime he wanted. What are the keys to the prison? What is his keys to his freedom? What does he got to do? all he's got to do, accept, at both times, accept the position, the highest prestigious position a alim of his time could dream of. But he said, رَبِّ السِّجْنُ وَحَبُّ إِلَيْهِ. The lashing, the torture, the prison, the humiliation were more beloved to Abu Hanifah than what? What did he have to do? Than a prestigious job any alim or imam of his time would have dreamed of. Not once, but twice. During the Umayyah Khilafah and during the Abbasiyya Khilafah. You see the difference between the ulama al-Rabbaniyin and ulama al-Dunya, al-Salatin. Who was these leaders Abu Hanifa used to be a follower of? Who were they? Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, Ibn Hubayra. Ibn Hubayra did mistakes. He oppressed. But he was a man who used to call scholars every time he felt his heart was hardened. He would call the scholars to his palace and tell them, advise me. Al-Hasan al-Basri used to walk in his palace and be very harsh advising him. And he would weep. Al-Sha'bi said, when we used to walk in, me and Al-Hasan al-Basri used to scare him, to scare the leader and scold him and warn him in matters and verses and a hadith of the life after. So much that Ibn Hubayra, the leader, would weep and cry so much we think he's going to die from the crying. He cried so much from fear of Allah that we think he's going to. This was a leader not spreading the call of kufr out of Mecca, spreading the call of interfaith out of Mecca. Tell the stance that I'm telling you, both of them, in the Umayyah and the Abbasi Khilafah of Abu Hanifa. Take the name Abu Hanifa out, take the Umayyah Khilafah out, and take the Abbasiyya Khalifa out. Take the stance and say it to anyone. You know what they're going to do to those Murji'a rejects? Tell them the stance of Abu Hanifa without mentioning the names of the leaders or the Imam. They're going to say he's a Khariji, and they're going to send you, they're going to tell you, send one of their 12-year-old to write you a 20-page refutation, and then they're going to say, then you tell them, but this was Abu Hanifa. They're going to back away and say, oh, but Barbahari said don't refute, don't debate with Mubtadi'a and you're a Mubtadi'a. This is their path. This is how they become misguided. I heard a snippet that I talked about a moment. A da'iyah in the US lying about a big scholar, a big person, and saying Ibn Uthaymeen considered this man a Khariji. And Salman al-Auda considered this man a Khariji. You modernists are talking and using Ibn Uthaymeen. Before you quote Ibn Uthaymeen and calling someone a Khariji, which is not really true, this is a lie, he's a liar. Before you quote that, why don't you use Ibn Uthaymeen's works and quote him on Wala and Bara, which concerns you in your Aqidah and your heaven and hell directly. Think, ya Muslimin, think who are the righteous leaders and are not. Distinguish between those who are the slaves of the rulers and slaves of the Rahman. Distinguish between those who are the slaves of popularity and those who seek to please with Allah. Take your religion, your most valued thing, out from those who fear Allah. Distinguish between the sellouts who want to gain more followers and then those who want to follow Allah. This was the path of the righteous. Abu Hanifah Rahimahullah dies in prison. Some pass the test in prison, some don't pass the test in prison, but the righteous always remain steadfast.